everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of
Dulcet tones? Was that
I
was it?
don't
Well,
I
I
don't know
do the
if
play
you
out.
knew what that was going to
Dulcet
be before
tones.
you said it. I don't
I
like
know. I'm like, what show are we recording here? What accent am I doing in dulcet tones? Yeah, I had no idea what I did. It
Dude,
was
I
it
mean,
was a
this is what,
mess.
it's all about just surprising people, right? The variation. This is what it's all about. Keeping it fresh. We keep it fresh here at Burly Media. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest episode of Dulcet Tones. I'm your host, Jonathan Garrett, joined as always by my legendary co-host, Stephen Murray, who you may recognize from the legendary video game Knockout City, and has also popped up on now what seems to be just a smorgasbord of our live streams and in our Discord as well. Stephen, a pleasure as always to be talking to you. Dulcet Tones, of course, is Burly Bird Media's performing arts podcast. And in this latest episode, we're going to be talking about workshops and how that can be not only an avenue for your own personal development, as an actor, as a creative, but can also lead to other opportunities like representation, having an agent, and also meeting people, networking, the power of connection within this industry. Because I certainly know from the stuff I've done, certainly when I was growing up in the National Youth Theatre, that it was, in a very, very cliche but true way, it really was who you knew. And there were so many things that I thought that I would either not be good enough to do or eligible to do that I'm so glad I did, particularly in the realm of like these sort of like one-off, either online or in-person workshops. I know it's something that you really subscribe to and really believe in as well. What impact do you think that's had on your professional development, getting involved with these kind of things?
I mean, there's a couple ways we can look at it from just the purely educational standpoint. It's been fantastic because these workshops that I've done, and I do look at the director of the workshop, the people that are involved, do a little bit of research on it. I suggest everyone do research on it, because if the price point's too low, it's probably not that good, and maybe the price point being too high would keep you away from it.
Mm,
At this point of your career as a voice actor, or when it comes to your the money you want to reinvest in yourself. So you look at the people that are involved, and obviously the subject matter. Is it something that you want to learn? Is it something you need to improve on? And then the secondary thing is to network. It's who's putting on the workshop. Are they a casting director, and are they in a field and genre that you want to get into? What does their name hold? What type of the credits do they have? And if you can actually get feedback from people who've taken workshops from them, whether it's on their website with some great referrals, or actually some people in your little realm, your circle, your community have taken those workshops. Then I advise those to do the legwork prior to signing up, and then prepare yourself too. Some workshops, they're great. They'll ask for your demos prior to the workshop. You
mm.
can either be they'll have opportunities. Some are participation opportunities. Some are auditor opportunities where you're an observer. If you're not familiar with the auditing aspect of it, I wasn't initially. So when you audit the workshop, you're an observer, and you can sometimes pipe in with a question and chat, which is great. But you're just kind of just consuming all the content, observing. And then when you're a participant, you're there. You're in the muck. You're getting the direction from the casting director, the person that's heading the workshop, or the people that are heading up the workshop, and you're kind of building off of that. And then you're seeing the other actors in their element. And you're taking little bits, and you're trying to take notes, and you're looking at your performance. There's a lot going on. It's always they go by very fast. Even if it's like a
Yeah,
three
well,
four
that's
hour workshop, it goes by very quickly.
that's something I wanted actually you to speak to because the notion,
Yeah.
especially in a group context where you're going to be, I think, a certain level of vulnerable to that. You're coming in as someone looking to learn, but also, especially if they've asked for your demo up front, or you're having to essentially sort of perform to a small online audience effectively. I do wonder though, is has there ever been moments of hesitation from you where you've actually gone in expecting to participate, seen the room, and then felt the sort of like that pull away of wanting to just be like, oh, actually, maybe I do just want to observe, or has it been more a case of you going, I'm in a community of like-minded people. I feel comfortable enough to share what I'm where I'm at right now.
I had trouble saying dulcet tones to kick off this episode because I wasn't sure what voice I was going to use. So yes, there is some trepidation in these
Okay.
workshops. That's a really good point, though, Jonathan. And it is twofold. So I have been in a workshop with where where they wanted your demo ahead of time, and this was like I think this was character development. It was for a casting director that's done a bunch of amazing projects,
Mm.
and they don't allow you to record anything, so you can't record the video or audio. So it's a safe space. You can say what you want.
Ah,
You
so
can
there's no, they don't then monetize, say, a video on demand version of this workshop later. Okay.
so if they do, if they're going to, they give you the heads
Oh,
up. Hey,
it's
we're going to film
expressly
this.
okay.
It's expressed. It's more of a class than a workshop sometimes, where they're like, you pay $20, $50, $100, and you get a video. Usually, you don't participate in those, and you get a video
Mm.
on demand. For later reference. But
But
the
you
ones
know
where you
that going
participate,
in, that's not like a
correct,
curveball thrown at you. Okay.
correct. So, but you're dealing with these casting directors, and I've taken them where, I was took a dubbing class just the other weekend. Unfortunately, all the participation slots were filled, so I was an observer. But the two people that headed up the class, they actually had people send their demos, and then they found like voice traits that were similar for the dubbing. So there's a comfort zone in there. They weren't going to do
Mm.
square peg round hole because they wanted you to feel comfortable doing this dubbing for animation. And then later on, it was kind of they put people in uncomfortable situations, but they start off in a comfortable scenario. But
Right.
I've been in a workshop where I think it was a video game workshop involving character development or whatever, and in that workshop, I see this actor that I adore, this voice actor that I adore. And we were allowed to pick out of, I think there were like 14 scripts prior to the workshop where we could choose, I think, two of them, and then we would just apply them, get directed, and they go like, we're going to do numbers 1 through 10, and then numbers 10 through 1 when it comes to, Steve Murray's number 1, this person's number 2, and
Mm.
then we go back and forth. Well, I just so happened to have the actor that was right before me is Christopher Tester, who's just this great British actor. I love him as a voice actor, and I go, oh crap, he's right before me, and I and and I and like one of the roles I chose was of like a British accent.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so I
High
had
stakes.
rehearsed. Yeah, I rehearsed it though with an American accent as well, my natural accent. And then I was like, oh, I can do a real pronounced accent with this. And then I go, oh my God, Chris is there. And then I go, oh crap, I hope he's not doing the same script. Because I'm like,
Right, of
now I'm going
course.
right
You're
after him.
just inviting comparison, aren't you? Someone's going to pick that
Oh,
apart, and it's
I
yeah, I hear you.
know. And he's such a great actor. And I love his videos, and he's a good dude. At least a few correspondences we've had. So he luckily chose a different script than I did. I did not do the the British accent. But then I said,
Okay,
man, he's got to come up after me next time. So I'm going to be in front of him. So he's got to try to top me. This
he's got
that
to
was
go
my mindset.
American. But
Yeah, he's got to
that's
go American.
well,
He's
there's
got
a
to go
certain
American now.
I do wonder if there's like for some people that could be a barrier to entry for this is there is the obvious financial consideration too because
Yeah,
you're investing in yourself there, but also I think there is perhaps a sort of understandable, reasonable hesitation, nervousness that might come from an environment like this, and I suppose a lot of that is also down to the attitude you take going in because I know I've certainly been humbled massively when I've gone into a workshop. I did a National Theatre workshop experience here when I was about in my mid 20s, and I'm looking around the room at these. To me, they were like kids, but they were like 19, 20, 21, and I was the 25-year-old, and I'm looking around and going, these guys are eating my lunch, like this is. I'm in a very, very heightened competitive space of my own making. It was not certainly by an attitude in the room. It was a
right.
very welcoming space, and they were clearly willing to learn and to participate in the way that is, useful and meaningful. But my God, did I feel like I was out of my depth. And in some ways, I think where for a lot of people that they would stop at that, they would have that hesitation and go, not for me. But actually, I'm so glad that I took a risk for myself and allowed myself to be not the best one in the room, and that sort of checking my ego part, I think, was a really healthy exercise for me. And certainly it's something I've now carried forward into my teaching career, into my work as a writer director, is that I've understood the importance of not getting it right. And that's something that, while again may appear somewhat sort of vacuous or sort of like a quote you'd see on a poster, it's actually really like rung true for me, particularly when I've been writing scripts for youth productions or
Mhm.
indeed anything to do with my curriculum work as a teacher or anything. So I do think that healthy vulnerability, something that allows you to access opportunities that give you a chance to realize that you're a work in progress. You're not there yet. We're all still learning.
And that's the mindset too, that you have to have, and I'm glad you actually laid it out so nicely. Is yeah, we are a work in progress. Just
Mm.
as individuals on Earth, we're work in progress. Those that are the smartest realize the fact that they're not the smartest in the
Hmm.
room. When you just start growing as a person, then as an actor, as a writer, you take these workshops. It's the other point of view that kind of uh that you see other actors do or you're directed to do, and you're like, I didn't consider that. And then in the moment there's that nervousness, that positive nervousness, I guess you could say, that takes over. You're like, I'm trying something new, so there's that excitement.
Mm.
Yes, positive nervousness, or otherwise called excitement.
Positive nervousness is a nice way
Po-
of framing that, I think. I think that's really nice. By the way, really tricky to say quickly, but that's a really
Pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa.
nice, yeah, that'd be a good vocal warm up. But that it's a
Mm,
good frame, I think, for this and for what we're trying to discuss here, which is also, I think, the idea that the power of connection. We alluded to it earlier in the beginning of the episode. I know that I've met some really great creatives and directors, not actually only doing things like workshops, but also like the work I've done with Burly Media, like some drivel, I've ended up meeting and speaking with primarily actors. Like a lot of those episodes tend to interview either on in person on camera,
yeah.
voice acting, or indeed TV show, film, etc. I've been surprised by the perspective and people's willingness to share, and that only comes from again from vulnerability and the willing to make a connection with someone. Um,
You have to, and it's funny because we always lean into what we know, what we feel comfortable with as an actor, as a performer. And because you were never, I guess it's weird, that grows though, and that should grow as an actor. Your
mm,
comfort zone should, how do I put it, your comfort zone should get bigger, I guess, like if you can picture a broad stroke, because you're now able to do more and more with yourself as an
right.
actor, as a voice actor, with different genres and approaches. So there's that. When you're put in the spot to perform, you can do it comfortably. That's why the workshops, I think, have really helped me, because I'm I'm kept on my toes, put on my toes, and then put in uncomfortable scenarios as an actor. And
Right.
then I'm directed into like succeeding in them, or what to do. And then I look at the workshops as ways of as ultimate education, where I watch the other actors put in these same scenarios and how they respond. And I go, whoa, would I do that? That's an interesting
Mm,
perspective. Or right from the jump, they take the script and they go, I'm like, I never considered that. That's intriguing to me. I
right.
did
So
take that.
like
Yeah.
you're being surprised whilst also recalibrating what you're comfortable with. And that's such a like a pile of emotions and like
Oh
and
yeah.
response to get back from that. Now, in terms of the content itself, are there specific areas of vocal performance and voice acting that you find yourself gravitating to if a workshop is kind of focused on that, or is it indeed painting with a broad brush and you're trying to just kind of soak up as many different experiences as you can?
At this stage of my career, I'm definitely more focused on certain genres. If I was just starting out, I would
Right.
do the broad paintbrush stroke to see what I want to currently get into, because my taste, my habits, my wants have changed through years of voice acting. And I've told my story before, how I started out in radio as an on-air personality.
Mm,
And I always wanted to be in a certain format of radio station, always have this type of show, and that never really happened. But I pivoted because I started learning about production, radio commercial production, early on when I was an on-air personality. And I kind of was slightly fascinated. I go, this is fun. This is also, it's a making vehicle for the radio station itself. So it's
sure.
important. It's important. So I started working in those skills, and also as a writer, and took some workshops involving commercial copywriting. So that was my bread and butter for a long time. And when I could, I would introduce a character into a regular commercial, static commercial, or whatever. When there was maybe a little lazy, I could maybe toss in a secondary character, or have the character be the entire part of the commercial. And that's when I started to branch out as a voice actor, and I had more of a passion just to tell stories. Now I do tell stories in commercials as well, but a lot of times you're kind of limited. So I wanted to just expand, because I'm like, I got more to give. and
Right.
more fun to have. And that's when I started expanding as a voice actor. And then now I look at myself, I'm like, commercials are still bread and butter. I still get paid to do
Mm.
commercials. And but now looking into e-learning. I know, like, oh, that's kind of boring, but it's not. And I've done technical videos for years now, for almost a decade. But then I did the Knockout City, the video game stuff. So I started diving into that, and now I'm like, I have to learn dubbing. I'm like, I want to learn dubbing. I want to be able to, yeah, do some possible animation work or some live action dubbing, English versions of foreign made IPs, and kind of go from there. So that's my next pursuit. We'll
Love it.
see how well I do, and gain that knowledge, and maybe I'll pursue it further. Maybe I won't. But those are things in these workshops that make sense. Whether it's a script analysis workshop, character development. I've been blessed with every one of these workshops I've done. The organizer is just so good at directing people. I've seen an actor that was super green, couldn't get through like two sentences, and these directors in like 2 minutes have them go from a D minus to a C plus, in like
Sweet.
from something unbookable
So
to
you could
bookable.
see
You could
progression
see
live.
the
That's a really cool feeling,
progressing.
isn't it?
You can
Yeah.
almost see I can almost see myself in that original actor.
Yeah.
You're timid. Your voice is back here. You're not sure what to do, and then all of a sudden they're growing in a 5 minute, 10 minute time span, and then when you're up, you're like, man, I trust this director. If they just did this with this person, you're just gonna fine tune me, or put me down a path I never even thought as an actor for that scene. And that's the cool, exciting part of it. And then just meet other people from that are in the workshop that are other actors, and you're like, wow. We always put out our social media handles after the workshop, connect that way.
Oh, cool.
I definitely have led other actors and people onto other projects I see an audition for that. Hey, go for this, go for that, go for that, and I just pass it along. If I get one back, cool. I don't care.
Yeah,
It's
no, that's but that
I spread it.
creates a really nice sort of like positive karma
Yeah,
within that, but also some like actionable synergy, like the
yeah,
collaborations and partnerships you've made there just by talking, just by sharing your art. That in itself has value that can carry forward because you never know what that person's going to end up in, and you never know what they're going to be able to throw back your way, and to see them, to continue to build on their own craft while you're continuing to develop yours. It's also just really satisfying. I mean, I find that I'm doing a master's right now in independent game development. So I'm doing that, but it's all remotely done. So it's at Falmouth University, which is about 200 miles away from me. But it's all done online. And jumping into the Discord with like-minded creatives is something that I find really, really satisfying, and it's something that I certainly want to continue pushing myself and try and taking risks, being having that
yeah.
vulnerability. I made it very publicly known within the early sort of meet and greets when we did our online seminars that my background is in writing and I'm really interested in narrative design and gaming, but programming and engine manipulation and Unreal and all that stuff is very, very I'm an absolute beginner with all of that stuff. But being okay with admitting that, and also my shit time management, being able to admit all of that, it was really, really valuable. And I've taken so much from it, because I was just that little bit more relaxed and not quite so protective of the areas that I know are not my strongest. And that
That's
definitely has been
that's
really, really powerful, for
it's
sure.
powerful too, and it's, I don't know. There's validation that's given to be in a workshop with people that are that are in the same field as you, and
Hmm.
they want to learn. And it's like, wow, there's other people there that are in the same boat as me. And you look at it as a positive, and they're not. It's not like, oh, they're in the same boat as me. It's a positive. Hey, we're in this
Right.
together, and then you can build from it. Even our relationship too, how it started and where it is currently, was you look at it like just from you reaching out to want to do an interview to us doing a
Right.
podcast now.
Right.
And it's the small things. It's the connectivity. It's enjoying someone's work ethic, what they do, and they reciprocate that, and also the fact that we are in the creative arts, the performance arts. So yeah, it's good to network. It just is. It's part of the deal.
Yeah, well,
There's
dude, I mean, without sort of like, inflating each other's egos too much, there's a reason this works. Is because I took the risk of emailing you out of the blue to try to set up the interview. It ended up being great, and through that just became it was a real moment of going, well, I more of that, please. Like it really that I wish there was a more nuanced or in-depth origin story to us, becoming friends and
Yep.
shooting this together and doing all of this. But that for me is we in fact are the case study for just taking a risk, building a rapport, and putting out something out there. That is we
Oh
are
yeah.
the sort of the example to what we've been speaking to in this episode, I
Yeah.
think.
And it's
Um,
overcoming that anxiety too to put yourself out there. And there's so many
mhm,
ways to put yourself out there in the performance arts, whether it's the networking, whether it's the workshops, whether it's the introduction in a DM, putting yourself out there in person. Just because I host a lot of pub quizzes, as you'd say them, or trivia nights, as
right.
we'd say them, in the States, and I've got a chance to get one-on-one FaceTime with people as a voice actor and as a performer, and I've gotten roles from it. I've gotten other gigs from it. If we had another 45 minutes, I'd tell a story about how one thing started here and it led right to Knockout City and led to this and these other smaller
Oh,
jobs.
dude, there's
Yeah.
we got episodes.
We got episodes. We
we
talk, but
we got
that
plans.
wouldn't have happened without actually listening to people when they talk to me. That's the key point.
Right.
Talk, or listen, take it in,
100%.
consume. And then branch out. Again, I like to pay it forward. As you know, I will give people connections as much as I can. Like, oh, these guys can work together. It's not affecting my life. I'm not monetizing it. Not everything has to be monetizing.
Right.
Your life. It's just I'm like, it's cool. I'm like, if I was in their shoes, I would like to connect. This person with that person, and I'm not. So I'm like, I'm connecting these people, and hopefully in the future, someone else connects me to another person, kind of like that. Doesn't even have to be them
Absolutely. And then it
directly.
just
That's it.
it's that sort of the unpredictability of not knowing where that's going to lead, but also
Yeah.
how personally fulfilling it is. That's ticking a different kind
Yeah.
of box. It's a not to elevate it too much, but it is that sort of like almost philanthropic approach, isn't it? Like the idea of you just giving a shit and putting that out there. That's something that if more humans did in the creative space, it would lead to greater opportunities, better,
Yeah.
learning, and ultimately everyone being able to share their art, which is really ultimately what this is, and kind of where we started. It was just I wanted to, indulge in a great conversation, and that's kind of what we built here with Dulcet. So, um, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to this latest episode of Dulcet Tones right here on Burly Bird Media. You can find us at all of the things at Burly Bird Media, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, as well as YouTube, Podbean, and Spotify. Please also consider jumping into our Discord community as well. It's a really, really lovely, welcoming space there where we have a channel for people sharing any of their Twitch streams or anything they're working on, but also lots of fun discussions going on and various live shows and other podcasts that we have here at the channel. Stephen, where can people find you?
This is where I get to look directly into the camera and act extra weird. Well, guys, you can find me on on
You
let's
can
see,
look through my
Instagram and
soul.
Threads on Murdog77 MURR DOGG77 MURR DOGG77. And obviously on Twitter, just find Stephen Murray. I'm there somewhere if you'd like to. And Facebook, it's my full name, Stephen
Mm.
Murray, S T
Oh,
P H E N M U
and
R A
I
Y.
I want to make sure voiceactorgarage.com.
Oh yes, my website, which I
Mm-hmm.
pay money for, and I should actually get people to go there for this thing called
Networking,
traffic.
dude. That's what
Yes,
this is.
voiceactorgarage.com as my hand goes on the screen. So those are how you can connect with me. And if you guys ever need me to assist in your voice acting career, don't come my way. No, actually, seriously, I do have a link, and I've sent it to
Ignore
other people.
everything we've talked about for the last five
No,
episodes.
no, I do pay it forward, and there is a resource link that I came across that people spend so much time on. I pass along to people. No one has ever said thank you, but I still do it. So
Hey man,
whatever.
that's such is
There you
such
go.
is the gig, right?
Yep.
Well, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.